Hello everybody, I'm Anthony Kane.
And I'm Bernie Olilla.
This week on episode 72 of Taking Control, we talk about how Facebook is taking on LinkedIn.
And how digital spending is on the rise and what it means for your business.
All this and more, join us live from One SEO, it's Taking Control. All right, welcome everybody to episode 72. It's a very special episode. I am Anthony Kane. I'm joined by Bernie Olilla, who is our Director of Content and Social Media Marketing here. We have a very awesome episode lined up. Before we dive into this, first and foremost, I wanted to send a very special thank you to everybody that showed up for the very first One conference here on Monday, November the 12th. It was a great day, Bernie. You were here. Yeah, Facebook spoke, Google spoke, Lance had a good talk as well. It was a great day overall. There were over 100 people here. It was kind of a special day. Everybody was networking, asking awesome questions. It was just a fun day.
Sharing good information.
Yeah, tons of information.
Finding out everybody basically has the same kind of needs when it comes to digital.
Yeah. There were people who had pages and pages of notes. It was really, really awesome to see. With that being said, we're really excited about next year's. Of course, there will be more information way down the line, but a very fun day for everybody. It was a great first kickoff for our new conference. So thank you to everybody that was there. I'm normally joined by Rachel, of course, who is celebrating her birthday in Nashville. So Rachel, we hope you're having fun down there.
Happy birthday, Rachel.
Yeah, happy birthday, have fun in Nashville. Bernie will hold down the fort this week. And it's actually great that you're here, Bernie, because one of the first topics we're jumping into is Facebook. Kind of taking aim a little bit at LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We know that LinkedIn is more of a professional, it's B2B, but it's also a professional sort of a network. You know, you can sign up for mentorships on LinkedIn. You can obviously find jobs. You can obviously hire through LinkedIn if you're an employer.
I think the big thing though with all this stuff is Facebook kind of reaching into the digital online learning module stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We use a lot of that stuff here at One SEO when we're training ourselves, when we're training our employees, or when we want to show clients different things. We kind of take a couple hours and go through their blueprint modules. So I think that Facebook blueprint is it's really going to encroach significantly on LinkedIn's share of that market.
I specifically made a note about that too because when you look at LinkedIn, they acquired lynda.com a while ago. They've got over 13,000 of these online courses.
Yeah.
I think that is a lot of opportunity for Facebook. Plus, I think it's a long time coming that Facebook kind of breaches. I've always said it, Facebook should get into the dating side of things because they know everything about everybody. They can just literally find the most compatible people.
The only logical next step is the dating world. Now you're going to the professional.
They have they know what you watch, they know what you like, they know how long you watch. They can literally find somebody that does the exact same thing as you. So I was like, okay, the two spaces I always thought took long, that Facebook was kind of bound to get into were dating and then of course the job side because the same thing, they know everything about you.
Yeah, but LinkedIn though, I think they're really far behind when it comes to interactive stuff on their platform. If you just pop open a LinkedIn, if you just popped open the app right now, you would scroll through and you would just see videos from influencers, or you would see a few ads that cost way too much money to run anyway, but that's a different topic. But I think in terms of interactivity and anything other than the word connection, they're really far behind, and I think Facebook's really gonna they're gonna light a fire under them if,
Yeah, and I think, people are kind of, a lot of this Facebook job stuff and professional services or whatever has gotten rolled out a while ago, and they're really starting to gear up now.
I think it was 1 million jobs or 1 million hires or something
like that. That's where I was going,
yeah.
And that's something that I don't think anybody knows, and I definitely didn't know that, but yeah, you mentioned it, 1 million jobs have been secured through Facebook platform alone already.
And I know, aside from our clients that we have, I know maybe 2 people that have ever gotten a job through LinkedIn, and that's just people our age that are kind of looking to break into any kind of industry at all, but
It's super interesting. I mean, it kind of goes all the way back to the whole be careful what you post on Facebook too, because now you're actually using it to get a job.
Now it's literally going to get used against you.
So keep that in mind. But that was a big step we thought for Facebook, really kind of branching out. They're becoming this sort of.
What do you think if you're at LinkedIn though? If you're their leadership team or whatever, and you're just seeing these great product developments from Facebook, who owns basically everything anyway. They're billions and billions of dollars. They have all this information about everybody on there, and then they have all these different interactive kind of ways to engage with different audiences and everything. And then you're LinkedIn, you're sitting there and you're just I'm charging all this money for ads and I'm promoting all these videos. That's really all I got going for me right now.
Yeah, LinkedIn's in a weird spot. The updates that come out for LinkedIn always seem to be kind of minuscule. I mean, the acquisition of Lynda was huge because it really opened up that they wanted to go down this sort of online course route. Yeah. They have this Tinder style mentorship thing where you can find a mentor by kind of cycling through different mentors. I thought that was, but even to your point, they're so far behind in that it took them forever to get to the point where you can share videos, and it took them forever to the point where you can do things that are so basic on other platforms that they probably are sitting back a little worried right now. Obviously, Microsoft owning LinkedIn, they're doing okay in that regard, but from a platform perspective, it's definitely has to be one of the last kind of thought about social media platforms. Speaking of just other social media platforms and digital marketing kind of platforms in general, one of the biggest stories that came out this week was just, and it's really no surprise, but it's just sort of the rise that digital advertising spend and revenue has really taken. It's a true kind of upward curve right now. To give you some numbers, the Interactive Advertising Bureau does a study, and basically just through the first half of 2018, there's been $49.5 billion in the U.S. In digital ad revenue. It's grown double digits pretty much every year as far as the amount of money. And it goes to show that businesses are pumping more money, I think, into digital advertising.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're dealing with, like, if you're like a small or medium-sized business, especially like a mom and pop shop or anything local, it just goes to show that like strategy and like managing your budgets appropriately and really taking advantage of the different things that you can do on each platform is like key and crucial to making sure you stay alive and viable online. Like for instance, when we talk to a lot of our clients that come on board with us, they're not spending millions of dollars. They're not Pepsi or Nike,
Right.
What they got to do is build an audience, then remarket to that audience, and then really focus their efforts and their spending on the marketing side of things so they can kind of, have that engagement already and get the one up on the big spenders.
And that's what I think is so special about a lot of the digital advertising platforms as well. As you mentioned, there's always going to be someone with a bigger budget than you. There's always going to be the 800-pound gorillas in the room, but there's always still ways that you can win, and there's plenty of opportunity for you to still kind of get your own. And I think that that's a really important kind of thing to mention. On top of that, when you look at the specific statistics of what's kind of on the rise, one of the biggest things I thought was just mobile video advertising.
Mobile videos are crazy. Facebook now offers, they offer the single image video thing that came out, which we're really taking advantage of for a lot of our clients, and that's getting a lot of results, especially in terms of engagement, like brand building. And then they also have like these different ways you can dress them up because they have all these templates out right now that you can use to kind of like do whatever you want with your video, make it holiday themed and like Black Friday themed and everything. Mobile advertising is crazy. So not only is it more accessible, like you were saying, and is it more viable, but it's like so customizable right now, or like not even customizable, but there's so many different things you can do that there's like, it's impossible to not make it work for yourself.
Yeah, and I think, a few years ago, when you look, so just to kind of give you the statistic, mobile video is up over 60% right now, just year over year, of the amount of money that people are pumping into mobile video advertisements. But when you look, like, I think a few years ago, video was always so intimidating to a lot of people, and now, like you mentioned, templates and just kind of making it very easy.
Dude, that's why it's
like,
not intimidating anymore.
It's just accessible.
It's so easy to make a video. Like I said, Facebook's got the single image video thing. There's different ways to do video carousels. You can just get like Animoto or something like that and start making videos on your own, or Canva or whatever it is, and just kind of create your own content and then push it out there and just do it the right way. And it's, your budget, you're not spending a ton of money, and it's not even bad creative work. It looks fine.
And people watch videos.
People love videos.
And that's what I go for. So shifting gears actually a little bit all the way across the sea to China. So when we look at China, everyone thinks of a massive population. Everyone also thinks of a massive e-commerce sort of presence. There is an enormous amount of money kind of being transferred through online purchasing in China. It's just sort of the way of life over there. Everybody buys pretty much everything online, which is awesome. However, there have been studies over the recent years that the growth of the e-commerce in China has actually been a little bit on the decline. And one of the reasons I think that's most interesting in sort of how they're reacting over there, which is a great point, is they're going after this untapped market of the 60 plus kind of age group.
Older people in Western China, how about that?
So, and I think it can be even kind of looking at it more universal in that, we know how to hit millennials, and we know how to hit Gen Z, and we know even how to hit, Gen X on their phones or whatever it might be. Because we're on their phones, we raised with phones, whatever it might be. But there's so much opportunity and so many ways that companies and brands are trying now to speak to these older demographics and try to make it, whether it's making their website more accessible for them, whether it's their advertising specifically targeting them, to get them more involved with going online.
People are branching out of like that. That's like, just hit them on Bing because that's the default browser that comes with Windows, or like, don't worry about social media for the 60 plus demographic. But I think what people are doing now is kind of like expanding their views and getting more creative with like the options they have available to them. So now the default isn't just Bing or whatever default is, or like certain times during the day. You know what I mean?
And it's, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Like there isn't as many, just percentage-wise, people who are in 60 plus category who are buying online as frequently or who are on social media as much as a lot of the younger people. So if you can find ways to kind of gear, and I think we already are, I think more and more there's a shift of older people who are getting a lot more comfortable using their phones, getting more comfortable buying things online. I can speak just from my parents' perspective. They're much more comfortable today buying things online
than they were. Is it then just practicing with it, or is like the platform's actually getting more friendly to like a universal demographic? I don't understand.
I think just because
it looks the same to me, but like what's the big difference right now?
I think just because it's actually sticking around and actually.
There's no way they feel forced into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like Amazon's just become, just as an example, has just become such a staple already. Like my dad is the biggest Amazon guy.
Everybody's dad loves Amazon
because you can buy something and get it the next day, and,
Yeah.
and like that's just awesome to him. So it was just an interesting article. Not so much that the numbers in China might not be growing as much as they were last year, but really because of how China and that market is really kind of reacting to. Okay, let's specifically gear a lot of our elements to some of this untapped potential of a marketplace. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to switch gears a little bit to more of the tech side, and this first story comes from is really speaking to a lot of our Windows users. So we're a primarily Windows office here, for better or for worse.
I think most offices are, right, except for like the tech.
It's just for compatibility. Yeah, you'll mostly see a lot of offices nowadays. Not so much the startup realm because they're typically Mac, but your traditional offices are usually run by Windows. But Microsoft actually released an update back in October for Windows 10. They actually had to pull the update back and then re-release it. It was kind of a mess. It was this whole thing. People were really confused. There goes my pen. Do I re-download the update? Do I delete the old update? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? People were actually even saying that they lost some files.
That's why I use the cloud. That's why I encourage everyone else to use the
cloud.
as well.
And that was interesting. People were actually confirming, like, no, I actually definitely lost files when they pulled that update back. So definitely something that you want to keep an eye on. And like Bernie mentioned, there are plenty of alternatives now in 2018 where everything can technically live within a cloud.
Google Drive.
Google Drive is probably the easiest, most
for collaboration.
accessible.
Not to plug Google Drive, but I mean, it's just we never have to worry about anything like that if we're just like
exactly.
in a cloud space. And just lose, like, could you imagine here if like we lost all that data or whatever because of a Windows update? If we were just saving everything in documents?
Exactly. Yeah, it would be detrimental, and I'm sure it is detrimental for a lot of people out there who don't take advantage of that. So something we wanted to kind of just bring up because it was interesting. Microsoft kind of fumbling the ball a little bit as far as releasing this latest update for Windows 10. Another fumble, and it's always funny to kind of see these. I say funny, just being lighthearted. Obviously, it's a little bit more serious when a company does get hacked. But the Google G Suite official Twitter account fell victim to a hack where somebody essentially got access to their official verified Google profile and was posting tweets about getting free Bitcoin, and it's essentially just the latest Bitcoin scam. But it always kind of goes to show you, and we say this almost every week, but you never really know. No one's safe essentially, and you never really know until you do. And
you're really not. I wonder how you get hacked if you what do they think about that right now?
Well, that's what I'm assuming. Google, the official G Suite account, is using a two-step authentication. You would hope.
Use that two-step, Google.
But also, it's a big company. There's probably a lot of hands in the cookie jar. There's probably interns and marketing people who line up posts and who approve things, and just having all these different hands in the cookie jar is obviously a little bit of a threat. So Target was also another victim of this, believe it or not. So two great examples of really high-profile accounts that have fell victim, and it's something that we got to kind of always go to say, which is, it can really happen to anybody.
I was gonna say, it doesn't matter if you're Target or Google or Nike or whoever you are. If you're you need to make sure that your passwords or whatever it is you're doing online, especially on social media, is protected to the most that you can protect it.
Yeah, and we say, Scott Ficassi, our president of IT, actually gave a great talk at the One Conference on Monday, and one of his great talking points was, when we see a big company get hacked like this, it goes a little bit deeper than just them getting Twitter posts, posted on their feed. It goes to, well, I have an account with Google, and all the accounts think about your personal email, if that gets hacked.
Yeah.
How many accounts you've created with that email
with that
address?
That email address,
whether it's your
password.
banking, whether it's your Netflix, your Amazon, whatever it might be. It kind of spiders out, so it really goes to show that it's an important
That's
piece.
What you don't hear about too is it happens to so many different people. It's not just them. It's the ones you don't hear about are the ones that it's really detrimental to their business.
Yeah, it is kind of scary stuff, and it's unfortunate that every week we do kind of talk about some of the latest hacks, but every week it's another big name that seems to make the news as far as this is concerned, and we just want to kind of re-emphasize the importance of a good IT strategy and a great data backup plan as well, just in case something like either of these two stories that we just talked about does happen, because it happens more than we kind of think it does. So, but either way, Bernie, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on for episode 72. You were a great filler for Rachel.
Anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We hope you have a great weekend. And just a quick note, we won't have an episode next week because it is obviously Thanksgiving, but we will have a little special surprise for you in the meantime to replace it. So thank you guys so much. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys next time.